And welcome back to the Black Male Community Council, Boots on the Ground, Black Man Standing. This segment, our first segment with Haziz Gramil was fantastic, and I'm sure that you are going to be blown away by the next brother from the Black Male Community Council that we have that's going to talk to you today. We got Brother Hazrak, and I'm going to have him introduce, his name is Sean, but I'm going to have him introduce himself so you can really understand who he is. Now, this brother, another brother that has integrity, that will not be compromised, and that understands the process of being able to develop his family, and his particular concerns about young black men that really need our help. And I'm really glad to be able to hear his perspective and have him here today as another brother, as one of the first brothers that came to the Black Male Community Council to help us build our organization. So at this particular point, I'd just like to say, hey, Hazrak, how you doing, my beloved?
Thank you. Thank you for that kind introduction. I appreciate it.
And so if you could just tell our audience your full name, and so we can make sure we get that right.
Yeah. My name is Sean Cameron Mathis. My family called me Hazrat. You know, Hazrat is a surname. It's a surname. It's an Islamic surname from Urdu, in the language of Urdu, and it's like a surname. To give you an example, you got Prince.
Okay.
You got King.
Okay.
You know, you have titles. It's a surname. So I was given that title, and Islamically in 1988.
Wow.
When I took my Kalima Shahada to become Muslim. You know.
I want to say this, right?
Yes.
When our audience sees you, right, you got your helmet on, you got the construction boots on, you got the T-shirt, and I want the audience to know that you just drove 2 hours to get here, and from getting off work
Yes.
in the construction business. Am I correct?
That's correct.
And so that sacrifice within itself, we appreciate it so much.
Thank you.
And have also appreciated your sacrifice to the Black Male Community Council, the contributions that you have made, and your mindset. So
Thank you.
I'd like to be able for you to talk about what drew you to the Black Male Community Council. Why do you stay? And what brought you to this point? And then I really want you to go into a conversation as it relates to your commitment, even to your own son, and your perspective on what we need to do in terms of our young black men in our community. So, Brother Hazrak,
Yes.
Prince, King, as one king to
Thank you.
another,
Yes. My
as
king.
one cultural warrior to another,
Absolutely.
the floor is yours.
Thank you. That's a lot to unload. You know, why I came, why I stay, why am I here? You know, it's a lot to unload. It's never an easy answer.
Okay.
It's never an easy answer. And the reason why I say that is because when, give you an example, I do construction. And I'm in an industry, you know, like we inside of a building. And this building was made with precision. If you look at that wall and you look at the doors that's able to close and shut, it's made thoroughly. But unfortunately, we're human beings. We can be thorough, but we not perfect human beings. Therefore, there's a lot of different perspectives on the table.
Okay.
You know, and what brought me here is the death of Stanley Crawford's son. And we had our first meetings on Girard Avenue. They were exciting. We were happy to be involved with something in the community. However, that's not why I stayed. That's not why I continue to stay committed. Because over a period of time, feelings change. And although it could have been one particular thing that brought you here, that might not be the particular thing that keep you. You know, I have not experienced murder in my family to that degree, in my immediate family. So the impact was some, but not all.
Okay.
For why why I came and why I'm here, why I continue to be a voice, is because. Give you an example. I'm listening to the news the other day, and the
Okay.
news says they going after all politicians for all of the guns on the street.
Okay. Hmm.
And I said that makes sense to a degree,
Okay.
but then I said, hold on a second. Do that stop the gun maker from making the guns? So if the gun maker, no, hold on now, let's talk.
Right.
We in Philadelphia, homicide a day.
Right.
I got a 19-year-old child. So I got a bunch of nephews that I want to help guide and keep alive
Okay. Hmm.
and not get murdered or commit murder. But hold on a second. We going after the politicians, right? But the gun maker's still making guns.
That's right.
So what do the politician, one human being, and people say, yeah, you go in and vote and you make laws. You're making a law, right? It has to, first you got 50 states in the United States of America. You got 2 U.S. senators that make up the Senate. And then you got the House of the House of Representatives. So Congress is huge. So laws, state, federal, or national laws will be ineffective, in my perception, with a gun maker,
I hear that.
because the gun is still being made.
I hear you.
So we passing these laws, and we have all of this talking, and we have all of these bills being talked about and passed, and then the dump truck come dump in the city of Philadelphia, in the poorest neighborhood. He come dump he turn his bed up and dump a whole slew of guns right in the middle of the city of Philadelphia, in the poorest neighborhood. And so we got all these laws. So where we're, I believe, going wrong at is we not out touching the people and telling the truth.
Yep. There was a point when I was looking at Philadelphia's makeup of their political power in terms of the mayor's office, and it was a point where it was a changing of the guard. Right, new mayor was going to come in, blah blah blah, and the mayor that was coming in, he was getting ready to fire everybody that was in the system, the political system of the previous mayor, right? And someone came to him and said, "Oh, wait a minute, you can't do all of that, right? Particularly so and so and so and so and so and so, because they know where their bones are buried, and they know how to make the sausage in terms of the process, the political process of the government and how those things run, right?" So I'm making an analogy here to your statement because I believe that you're absolutely right. Sometimes the games that are played to be able to have the facade, right, that things are happening and there's an attempt to make change when there's really no change. Because in the process of the government setting up its process to run, and sausage is only made only one kind of way.
Right.
Okay, and we have been, if you understand what I'm saying, I mean, I know that was kind of deep. You know, what I mean, I get that, right? But the point is that we have a tendency to be complacent when it comes to the process that's going on, and it's like Trump said to his own people. And check this out. What Trump said to his own people at one point in time, he said it about his people. He said, "Man, I could lie to them every day. They're gonna believe me at the end of the day, no matter what."
Yeah.
You know, so how can we, as people of African descent, the people are trying to make a change. People are trying to save our kids' lives, like you're trying to save your nephew's and your son's life, right? How can we accept that?
Well,
And you're saying, and to me, your statement is, oh, well, if we don't go after the right people, then what do it mean?
well, thank you for that. And I get the sausage analogy. That was excellent, excellent, excellent analogy. I'm learning to say fewer and fewer words. I work in an industry where I'm the only black man sometimes on a 100-member job. And the job is $1 billion easy. And what I've come to understand is we're suffering as a community in different ways. One is we don't have the economical power to dictate our own terms. And this is what I mean. I started off talking about constructing and the precision and the thoroughness, and one of the things we have to understand is that our young men, probably a great percentage of them, do not know how to use a tape measure. Do not know how to level a table. Things that are essential to building. And one of the things that is affecting us is that we're not seeing the big picture. The big picture is there's 3 of us in this room. The big picture is us getting on the same page. And understanding what's needed, what's important. We're getting older, so it's important. Yes, we can talk politics and we can talk our belief system and what we believe can help our community. But the talking is like kind of over. It's about doing. It's showing. This facility God blessed us with is big enough, I believe, we have to start with these young men, and we have to find a way to get them interested in a career in economics that can help the community. And the difference between, see, I work with all of these white electricians. One is a helper. One of them is, 3 of them are apprentices, but you got a 3-year apprentice, 4-year apprentice. Apprentice in this society means you practicing mastering a craft.
Right.
There are no black apprentices. So out of all of the carpentry, out of all of the iron workers, pipe fitters, floormen, I work with 3 laborers. Even the laborers over there are white in New Jersey. And I'm talking about constructing because when we talk about trying to help our youth, which is saving our community, they want to have something. They're not looking at working at a McDonald's.
Right.
They're not looking at working in the cleaners, trying to become a presser. They wouldn't understand these type of things. So we have to find a way as a community, as men of knowledge, as men of understanding, we have to find a way to help them to see that constructing, in my assessment, is a way that you can provide for your family and give back. Because you'll learn something.
Now, this is the thing. There were two thought processes at one time. Booker T. Washington, right? Booker T. Washington was always about the laborer. Okay, right?
Yes.
And then here's W.D. Du Bois, and that intellectual group, right? That they was like, well, shucks, I'm not trying to put no hammer in no nail.
Right.
And we got to be doctors and lawyers, and we had to stop looking at these other, we had to put emphasis on that, right? Well, in my opinion, Booker T. Washington means to me W.D. Du Bois, and that thing needs to be able to come together.
Come together, yes.
Because we need to be able to do that on all levels. And the country, when you look at the construction that's going across America, right? Just the example that just happened here in Philadelphia when the bridge broke down, right? Okay, I-95 a blew up, big hole in the big hole. And they turned around, gathering the right laborers, in 2 weeks turned the whole thing around. But at the end of the day, it was a lot of money spent. A lot of people made a lot of money. And that industry continues to thrive on the roads, on the construction, on building big business in America.
Infrastructure.
Infrastructure. And we are not a part of the
You're in a
process.
part of the program.
Not at all.
Yeah.
You said something, and I feel your passion as it relates to, well, how do we get that message out? Where's our action plan, even as a Black Male Community Council, to be able to not sit around and pontificate on our intellectual prowess or the knowledge that we got white hair and we know something, we know a little something. How do we get past that, right? And I'm going to say this, and I have to applaud Car Cam Films, who is doing this work right now, right? Okay, because this is the start of one of our processes to be able to get the message out. Now we've just started the Black Male Community Council, Black Boots on the Ground, a Black Man Standing, these interviews, right? And we've been up on our YouTube channel for the past 2 weeks with these interviews, and the responses that we are getting, thank you, audience, the responses that we are getting has been fantastic, right?
Yes.
And that's why we thought it was so important to be able to have the men that make up the Black Male Community Council come to do these interviews so their stories can be heard, right? So that we can be able to accumulate the messages, and there's been some great messages given by the people who sat in where you're sitting right now.
I would just like to share with you. You was touching on something, and it got away from you just a hair, and we need to go back to that. How do we begin to put
beginning
these
now.
things? I mean, the talking is great.
Right.
The gray hair is fine.
Right.
But you said it, and that's the whole key.
No, but I'm saying,
Finding a way to get these young men.
and part of that is, in my opinion, part of that is to be able to do programs like we're doing right here. Part of that is being able to put our information on social media. Part of that is to be able to drive people to our YouTube channel so they can hear some of the profound things that you just got finished saying, and the other brothers that have sat in the table, brothers and sisters that have sat in that chair, to be able to give that kind of inspiration to our young people. So there's many different avenues in order to be able to take.
I have different routes that I've taken. I know where the halls are, where you can go apply, like Spring Garden.
Right. Okay. Right.
Spring Garden,
Right.
you have the electricians union at 18th and Spring Garden, and right down the street you have the carpenters union on 16th and Spring Garden.
Okay.
So maybe a 16th and 20th, but they're right there. And then you have the sheet metal workers, local 19 on Columbia Avenue, and I'm saying that because,
I hear you.
and then you have local 332 that just have a building built right there at on Broad Street.
Broad and Fairmount.
The Broad and Fairmount is at the actual Union Hall, but the school is at right up from Broad and Girard. I think that's Broad and Master or something between Master and another little street there. But the how is the most important thing, because what I found out with my young sons, I couldn't discipline them like my father disciplined me. I had to talk to them gingerly.
Okay, I hear you.
In order to get the results. I had to talk to them. I couldn't use that firm sternness that my father used with me to help check me. It didn't work. And it wouldn't work with these young men. And what I realized studying how the Mexicans work on a job, and I study how the white Caucasian man get along, and they communicate real gingerly with each other, even if they don't like each other. They respect and how they correspond is so great. And I say to myself, and I continuously learn from it, because I used to go on these construction sites, and I used to take street values with me, and I would be the same one getting laid off. So I had to learn how to stay.
Okay.
I just give you an example today. I live in Philadelphia, and I work in New Jersey, and the company is in New Jersey right now. They set up a U-Haul truck for me. They put some material in it, and I had to bring it to Philadelphia for some volunteer work for the company that I'm working for in New Jersey.
Okay.
Now, I say that to say this. I am trying to come to Philadelphia so I can help be more of an example of getting people on a job site.
Okay. Okay.
But I'm talking about the trust level of changing the street mentality to a professional working man.
Surely. I'm glad you said that, right? Because one of the things, there's a couple of things here that I think that could be very advantageous for the passion that you have to be able to put black men and women into
position.
In position. And there's something to be said for that. One of the things that I know that we have been desperately trying to do, because you've heard me say this often, you can't run a revolution broke. and what
Your favorite word.
My favorite word. You know, and so and one of the things that I know that we've been trying to do, and I think that we're almost there, to be able to get the right resources so that we can create the programming. See, if you don't have the resources, I can't bring a HAZRAC to the table and say, HAZRAC, look, we want to start a campaign, right, with your knowledge, to be able to recruit X amount of brothers to be able to get your understanding. And because we're going to have to put them in a room so that you can tell them that these opportunities are there, then tell them about the process that needs to happen for them to get there, and then on top of that, be able to educate them in terms of changing their attitude to be able to maintain, right? That all is time consuming, and you cannot ask people to do that without the proper resource to make it happen.
Absolutely.
Now, and we've been making strides and steps. Now, you remember, Hazrat, we started off in a room at the Guardian Civic League.
Yes.
At the right?
Yes.
A room.
Yeah.
We sat there for 6 months planning, right?
A little longer than 6 months.
Well, longer. We said before we even stepped out into the community, right?
Yeah.
We've done, before the pandemic, we did 22 community rallies. 22 in the community. Average rally we did in the community was 100, 150 people, right?
And you don't forget that we cleaned up every
And
weekend.
we cleaned up every
weekend.
So every week. So we doing all this
For a year.
We doing all this muscle stuff, right?
Yeah.
Right. I'm doing it from the muscle, but had to build our organization from a perspective that one, we have a track record, the other that is acknowledged in terms of how you go after the proper resources and they be able to get them. So we've been building. Now we're in this beautiful facility that our president and CEO was able to get for us, right? And now we're in a position to be able to move the needle forward. And with forward-thinking people like yourself that understands what the issue and the problem is. But we cannot do it
Without resources.
Without the proper resources.
You have to have resources.
And one of the things earlier today, in our earlier interview with Gramil Aziz, one of the things he indicated was that, again, thank you to CONCAM and Andrew, right?
Thank you.
These interviews and things have the potential to go around the world.
Absolutely.
Right? Okay, based on the social media and how quickly things go around. So if we're able to be able to do that, we do not know who's listening or who's seeing us that is going to come and say, look, you guys are doing a great job, blah, blah, blah. Here's the resources. Get to work.
Here's some resources.
Because we already got the programming. No, we got the programming. We got the programming written. We've got the people like yourself to be able to make it move. Because you're right. It's past conversation.
Yeah.
It's past conversation. It's do or die. It ain't the question why. So I'm in total agreement with you so much And again, I'm going to say this. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
And I got to tell our listening audience, this brother drove 2 hours after work to be able to come here, to be able to, and he didn't try to come cute. He
Yeah.
didn't put on the interview before.
Yeah.
Hasbro, he was, he's sharp as a tack. Man, I came and
Yeah,
I got my cultural thing on, right?
Yeah.
And my brother came here with a helmet, construction boots, and a heart of gold.
Yes, thank you.
And we thank you.
I appreciate
Brother
the
Hasbro.
interview. Yes.
We thank you for coming and sharing. And this was by far one of the best interviews that we've had.
God
And
is
thank
good.
you so much.
Thank you.
And where do you see the Black Male Community Council in 5 years from now, and where do you want to see it?
Well, I see. That's something I've given a lot of thought to. Is where I want to participate at. And I called Stanley around 2 months ago, and I said I'm ready to come back because I've been some
Developing.
things, but not full fledged like we was when we were going out there marching,
Right,
or doing the cleanup. So internally, you always want to be able to get back to your community. And I watch these other communities, man, and I'm so desperate for us as a community to rise above. And it takes resources, like you said, it takes vision. But one of the whole keys that I see, one of the keys that I see is me being an instructor 5 years from now on how to delegate on a construction site, how
Wow.
to use certain
Wow.
tools, how to use manners in order to keep and maintain a job.
Well, Hasbro, if I got anything to do about it, and God keeps blessing us and the ancestors keep moving us in a direction, that is going to come to fruition.
God's will.
God's will.
Yeah.
And again, I thank you, Hasbro, for taking the time out of your schedule, man,
Yes.
to be here to share with our audience. We appreciate it so much. And I just wanted to be able to say, well, hey, look, I can't say it any more than that.
Yes, thank you, Kofi.
Many are called, but few are chosen.
Yes.
And I'm going to end with one of my other favorite proverbs: if you don't help your brother get 9, you won't get 10.
You won't get
And
10.
so again, thank you to our audience.
Thank you.
Black Male Community Council, Black Man Standing,
Black man standing.
Boots on the Ground.
All hands on deck.
All hands on deck. Thank you so much. Peace and blessings.
Take care.